Hello and welcome to another edition, a special edition of the Big O Show.
There is.
With the great Orestes Destrade. That was not one of my better ones.
That
there.
was not one of your better ones.
It wasn't.
You've been rolling the R's so well, and I appreciate it, JP Peterson.
Too much coffee, I think, this morning.
Yeah? So you went a little faster?
I did.
Yeah, because you're not going that slower. You know.
But I'm excited. We got an in-studio guest.
Yeah, we do.
Would you like to introduce your in-studio guest?
The one and only Mike Murphy of the Murphy Auto Group.
Woo!
Legendary family of dealerships, car dealerships from here to Augusta. His father, Dennis, started it all. Actually started it all as a ball player first, and then became an incredible businessman here in the Tampa Bay area. We're very proud to have him here because of the fact that not only has been successful in the business world, but also as he professes and pushes and demands of his employees the big 3C of customer, charity, and community. And we're going to talk a lot about that community, JP,
Welcome.
because
happy to be here.
Also part owner of our Tampa Bay Devil Rays. And
that's right.
One of the limited partners. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Amazingly blessed, for the opportunity to be part of the new ownership group with the Tampa Bay Rays. We have amazing leadership, and we're really, really excited for the future. We got a very important 4 to 6 weeks, don't we?
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of a big deal, this stadium thing that I've been covering for 20 years here, partner. And we are dangerously close to ending my national nightmare here of covering this story and actually getting it done the way that I had always hoped it would be done. But we've been covering this for a long time, and it came to a point where I realized we need a new ownership group that has deep Tampa Bay ties and the political will and the money to get this done the right way. And Lord, here you guys come. And when I first heard about it, I was like, and then heard the names that it was involved in it, I was like, oh, this is exactly what we need. It's exactly what we've hoped for. And and it wasn't going to be without some struggle. Obviously, deals like this are going to be political hot potatoes, which is what this turned into. Fully expected that. But I think we're winning the war, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So hopefully we can talk a little bit about this today. And I kind of want to dig in on the owners. I don't think you guys are getting enough play of who you people are and how good you are for the community. And that ties in with everything for me.
Absolutely. It's a lot like our team, right? We've got a couple really big names, and everybody knows the juniors and the Patricks of the world. But we have a very deep depth chart of ownership group. These are individuals that have been born and raised and have put their heart and soul into the Tampa Bay community, not for years, but for decades. My family came here in 1978. You think of the Doyles, you think of the Ridleys, the Weatherfords, the Stahl family, the Williams family. Like, we've been around for a very long time, and we are Tampa. And that's what's so much fun is no question about it. You have local ownership group that believes in Tampa Bay, believes that we've got a great opportunity. And if we all work together, we're going to build an amazing ballpark.
And that's kind of the thing that I key on with this, because this is really a legacy scenario, right? And I look at it, Michael, as like 3 different levels of legacy. You've got the ownership group obviously benefit, it'd be a legacy deal for their kids and grandkids and great grandkids, but also the municipalities here benefit. The ones that push this forward and do it will be remembered for many, many years to come. When you think of great deals, in other places, obviously the Battery is the one that most comes to mind right now, and how successful Cobb County has come to. And then the third legacy part of it is the community and how much they can, so it's not, some people get caught up in let's not give owners the money. And it really is a marriage. And this is the way that your ownership group seems to be, putting it forward.
Absolutely. Every single member of the ownership group is putting our own money in, our own after-tax, hard-earned money. So I don't think this is free by any stretch of imagination, but it's still significant. And we understand the magnitude of the significance of our offer and our ask. But let's look at it from a slightly different point of view. In the history of baseball, it's been around a very long time. Only one city has ever lost a team and got it back. And that's Washington, D.C., right?
Correct.
So the bigger question we should ask ourselves is Tampa growing? And is the best yet to come? And are we a city ascending, or are we a city on a decline? If we're a city on a decline, then maybe we don't fund a stadium and we're grateful for what we have and we had to hold on. But that's not my belief. My belief is that Tampa Bay is just getting started. we're just getting warmed up. The best is yet to come. When Brady moved here, the secret of Tampa got out.
Mm-hmm.
For millennials, it's the number one place to move in the United States.
Yep.
And let's be perfectly frank. Our kids and our grandkids deserve a hometown team, and nothing gets you ready for life like the game of baseball.
That is
that's so well said.
The whole thing was
sold.
So I'll tell you what, that is so well put together because of the fact that the main topic there being we're going this way, we're going up. Tampa Bay is growing, it's vibrant. Corporations are wanting to come in here. Just a couple of years ago, Murphy, I got Murphy on my mind. Mitsubishi Auto, financial group, moved their data centers here and 500 employees. So many other major companies are have already come in. So
they're looking.
When you think about that, Mike, what do you think the ramifications will have of this type of a deal on a whole, not just in that area?
If you're not a baseball fan.
Well, that's a great question. There's multiple ways to look at this. So let's say you're not a baseball fan for a minute, but you love entertainment. Mm-hmm. I think we need a real entertainment district like a Battery. Most people that go to the Battery don't go to attend a baseball game. They're going for food, they're going for fellowship, they're going for friendship. And I think that's massive. Now you're also talking about a little more high-end hotels, a whole new completion of an area that was always about half-baked. If you go back to the old Sombrero, the Dale Mabry footprint is ready to host all the events, but we never had the infrastructure. And what's so amazing is, yes, we're building a ballpark, but we're also talking about developing an entertainment district that would have a 365 use. And of course, with that goes the humanitarian and the philanthropy of it all. We now have another place to host events, to help feed the underserved, to help lower the cost of home ownership, and also lower the cost of rent with affordable housing going into this area.
Yeah, that CBA really deal that they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be, as you say, it's 365. It's not just baseball games, concerts, other things. And, oh, by the way, getting a whole new college, $150 million in state money that's coming in to fund a college that is desperately in need of repair and can't find the money to do it, if not for this particular. And I tell people, you may not go to a baseball game, but your grandkids or your kids might go to Hillsborough College, which is significantly less tuition than the bigger colleges in state. So it's helping out people that maybe don't have the money to go to these other more expensive universities. They can stay right here and get a great education, which is now going to be tied into the Rays and all the businesses in that area for internships, initial jobs, all these things. We're talking about 10 to 12,000 permanent jobs, 30 to 40,000 construction jobs. So you may not like baseball, but the impact, whether you believe it's 55 billion or 75 billion, either one I'll take. Absolutely. And anything in between.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. This is an amazingly positive shot to the economy. Yes, we still have to build it, and it'll take a few years. But when we think of life after construction, now we have all the options in the world. We have downtown, we have midtown, and now we have this sports entertainment district. That only makes us more attractive to larger expos. Now we're competing. We've got a shot to be the Las Vegas of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Where people come here, they get entertained here. And then, we also obviously have a casino down the road too. So why not us? Beaches. I mean, we're not in a desert. Like, why not pick a fight with Las Vegas? Like, right. We should be the premier place to host your events, your conventions, your expos, if you're going to stay on the East Coast of America. And we need the infrastructure.
Let me ask you, I mean, we'll move on to some other things, and definitely want to mention some of the other, by name and owners and stuff like that, that are so local. But talking about 10 years down the road, which isn't that far down the road. I mean, you have young kids, and it happens so fast, right?
Absolutely.
I remember coming to Dale Mabry in 1978 as a 15-year-old, playing in the state title at Al Lopez Stadium.
Yeah,
for the Florida high school state title.
Yeah.
And obviously 1978 Dale Mabry was still the main thoroughfare for Tampa.
Yeah.
Kennedy and Dale Mabry.
Yeah.
And it had some restaurants, had some stuff, but
had some strip clubs.
It's obviously I was not paying attention to that. My dad was like, pelota, you got a game today.
Dad, what does all nude mean?
Why is there a spaceship on? So I digress.
Sorry, my bad.
What do you call it? But anyway, my point is, 10 years from now, how do you see the potential of Dale Mabry? Because you're a businessman and have opened up shops, very successful from here to Augusta, including one, right up the road now, Genesis of Tampa, let's mention it, and we will later on. But what do you see potentially with this incredible, Dale Mabry?
So let's go back to, just a few years ago when you were playing high school baseball. Dale Mabry historically was Automotive Row, right? It was kind of car row.
That's
all
right.
the great dealerships there. Yeah. Why? Because they wanted to be where all the action was. And there's been an evolution in the car business to where you're seeing new dealerships being built out by interstates. So I think there's a great opportunity. I know there's a great opportunity to continue to reinvent the whole Dale Mabry area from Hillsborough South to Kennedy North. This is a larger than just our little footprint of the HCC and the Ray J, or whatever the new name's going to be here in a year or two. That whole area is going to be the future homes of museums, future homes of infotainment. There's also going to be a future home, I think, of air taxis with the proximity, and then of course our federal opportunity here in Tampa.
Think about
air
that.
Taxis.
How about that?
I'm talking about light rail. He's going air taxi.
That's a business mind.
Well, that's something we need to be thinking about, right? I mean, if we're going to have Uber exclusive luxury suites in a new ballpark, then people are going to want to get there in style.
Yeah.
And why not take an air taxi from downtown Tampa to the ballpark and be there in 4 to 5 minutes?
Yeah.
You just wave down to the traffic. Hey.
Yeah, and the airport's not far away.
No, not at all.
So whatever connection air taxis are going to have to the airport will be right there.
Right.
But I'm also Mayor Buckhorn, past and future.
Amen.
Sat right there and said, when I asked him about light rail, he said, we've been trying to do this for a long time. We get a stadium complex where we're now going to have, not just 20 nights at RJS, but we're talking about adding another 170 and 180 nights of large events on where the baseball stadium is. Well, then that's kind of a no-brainer to get federal money, state money to build light rail as well.
Absolutely. And I think the old DoubleTree Hotel got knocked down on Cypress. That's supposed to be one of the hubs for light rail. So that investment's happened. That was an eminent domain case that got taken care of.
That's
so
right.
They wouldn't, at least I would like to think, that our leaders in Tallahassee wouldn't spend taxpayers' dollars frivolously. That never happens, right?
No, I've never heard that.
But I think, they went through all those headaches and sitting in court battles, to make that. And so I think light rail is inevitable. So it's not if we're going to get it, when are we going to get it? Does a new ballpark accelerate light rail? Absolutely. Is air taxis opportunities? 100%. When Hard Rock Stadium or Joe Robbie Stadium was built, they had that idea back in the early 1990s, and there's helipads next to the suites.
Yeah. And it never came to fruition. And having played for the great late Wayne Huizenga and met with him even after my playing days, because he was a dear friend, he had so many great ideas. You remind me of a young Wayne Huizenga, because he had really great ideas that made sense. They didn't do it, and look where Miami, unfortunately, is stuck at right now, with a stadium that doesn't have things around it. They haven't built that up. So this is imperative, and I think you could create a whole district that's beyond this great live, work and play area that we're talking about. This is a theme for years to come.
Amen. Absolutely. So here's the other part I think that we need to keep in mind when we're talking about a stadium. And we're not talking about, we're talking about a ballpark and not a stadium. When we talk about building an NFL stadium, and it sounds like, the Bucks have the ability to get money whenever they ask, you're talking about at best 10 days a year.
Yeah.
And we're talking about at least 81. And with the team that I see, you're going to get 81 plus home games a year. Divide that by 7.
Yeah.
Right. All of a sudden, what is that? 12 weeks of more entertainment right here locally. And people are funny about bridges, right? So people don't like to cross bridges. I think if you have 11 more weeks of entertainment and you don't have to cross a bridge to get there, that people from Pinellas County, Pasco County, Hillsborough County, but also Polk County, I think is the
untapped.
Yeah, we got an amazing opportunity here to where I think attendance will no longer be a problem at that location.
Yeah.
Well, I can also say congratulations already in the first couple of weeks. You guys are averaging over 20,000. I think the last full year at the Trop, it was 16. So I guess they like the new owners.
I think so. I think
what you guys have done with the tribe. I know it was a lot of local St. Pete money and FEMA money that went to, you guys put a lot of money into the trop as well.
Absolutely.
To redo the whole, to get it done on time. I thought that was a huge accomplishment by this new ownership group.
And I think Ken Babby deserves all the credit. He really did a fantastic job of prioritizing the stadium, meaning the trop, as the most important thing. We had to get back into a major league ballpark, and we needed the best version of the trop. We didn't need to apologize for the trop, and you do not have to. Then with his AAA knowledge and minor league experience, I mean, these things are more fun than ever.
Correct.
You have more inclusive seats now than ever. It's so much fun to see left field being a place of entertainment and all you can eat and drink. It wasn't always like that. So I'm very, very bullish. And then, when you're playing plus 500 ball, every day we've got a chance to win. And the way we're playing is so much fun.
Yeah, let's talk some baseball.
I do, but before we do, I want to hit back on that one point, because that Sky Deck deal for $49 is blowing up.
Best deal in baseball.
It's arguably, they're saying, the best deal in sports.
Yeah,
I see that.
The best deal in sports, with the all-inclusiveness of it and the excitement, and it's a good area. You can still even catch a Junior Caminero home run.
You can.
when he drops one 420. A little bit on that and the fan engagement that you're seeing right now.
Well, there's just this, you can feel a sense of optimism that's all over the stadium, but it's also in the community. There's always gonna be naysayers, right? I mean, we crucified the last perfect person. So
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
You were around a couple times.
I wasn't around, but yeah, I heard.
So there's always gonna be headwinds. There's gonna be naysayers, but the overall people, when you go to press box or you go to these local watering holes, you can tell that something's different, that it's a toast to a new normal, to a new level of excitement. And I think we're just getting warmed up.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And the thing that always gets lost in all this talk about money and the ballpark and everything else is the reason you're doing this as owners is so you can have the resources to keep Junior Caminero, to keep all of our good players, instead of knowing right away, oh, well, as soon as he gets the free agency, he's gone. This is what this ballpark project is for. So, and this is what the Braves have done. They've made so much money off this that they put the money back into the team, and they won a World Series right off the bat in Truist Park with the Battery.
$60 million payroll.
That's right.
Year, which is,
that's right.
So
we want you to commit as an owner to a 200. But that's the whole idea.
Before we get into the baseball part, as far as the team's playing solidly well, and I'm very impressed with them. I just want to ask you a question. What does baseball mean to you?
Baseball means everything to me. Baseball is a microcosm of life. Baseball is the fairest game, fairest life experience that any young person can ever go through. And I think this is, if I can relate it back to the ownership group, before we were an ownership group, we were raging fans. That home plate club had the Stahl family, had the Doyles, had the Weatherfords. My dad and I sat there and
Critchfield, Jack.
Critchfield, put Augie in that list, and Mr. Ridley. Like, it's incredible when we think about we're fans first. But why? It's because baseball has positively influenced all of our lives. Let me be perfectly clear. I would not be me without baseball. I don't think I would be born without baseball. And it's not
your father, the influence that Dennis had on you, and I agree.
Well, let's talk about that, right? My grandpa could not read or write. My dad was born in a less than ideal household, and the only way he escaped extreme poverty was through a game that you had 3 outs and 9 innings, and nobody cared about what you looked like, how you prayed, who you loved. In baseball, you fail at best 70% of the time, but it's just like life. It's supposed to be hard. And if you play the game right, you can achieve your biggest and wildest dreams. Did Dennis get to go to the majors and play up there too much? No. Did he give him the fundamentals to get out of a bad situation, become a business owner, employ thousands of people, thousands of Floridians, buy stores in Georgia and South Carolina? Absolutely. None of that would happen without baseball. And that's the common denominator in our local ownership, is we feel a fiduciary responsibility to protect the game we love and to keep it in the city we love. Full stop. This is not an investment. There are much better things to invest in than professional sports. And for those of us listening, SpaceX would be one of them. Although,
you write that down.
What is the disclaimer I'm supposed to give? Future results don't necessarily predict past expectations.
That was a very eloquent and romantic view of the game.
I knew that he had, because having spent so much time with Michael, the love that he had for the game, born through his father, and is just incredible, and it fuels him. And I'll add to my experience of being around baseball all my life, it's just a game that transcends barriers, and that's one of the things that's beautiful
you would know.
Well, culturally and socioeconomically. So what we're trying to build here is something that really does transcend barriers, and it meets, West Tampa to North Tampa to St. Pete to Pinellas County. It's just it's a beautiful game that I think both boys and girls can enjoy. It's not just a male-dominated sport. Obviously, what we're talking about is Major League Baseball, but the game of baseball, such as a transcendental impact in an American life for sure.
I just love what you said about being caretakers of the game here in Tampa Bay, and being able to take my kids to a World Series game. They're not great baseball fans, but they'll never forget that. Even if it was at the Trop, but it was fantastic. It was wonderful, and being able to take my son to spring training games or take him to Rays games growing up. It's having a Major League Baseball team in your town. I think it drastically improves the quality of life. And it's the summertime. It's so many games. It's always something to do, always something to talk about, and to have heroes that stick around would be great. I mean, all of this becomes true in this dream that we have, and it affects everybody in such a positive way. But you're right. Everybody wants to make this about, we're giving money to billionaires. And that's what I think. If they knew who you guys were at your heart and why you're into this, it's not, as you said, you can invest in a lot of other things and not take all the crap that's going on now, but you're doing it for as O always says, it's a legacy play. And you want to be part of this group that keeps this here.
Well, I think the other maybe misinformation out there is that we're all billionaires. Like I would love to be a billionaire. Right. Like I'm working on it.
Yeah.
SpaceX.
Yeah, SpaceX. OpenAI is not a bad one either. But yeah, like the majority of our local ownership group, like this was a big check for us, and we aren't billionaires. I would say we can count our billionaires on one hand or maybe just a couple fingers. So you're really helping those local business owners that we've been paying taxes, state, local, federal, sales, income, payroll, into the community for decades and decades and decades. Think of Murphy Auto Group, think of Morgan Auto Group with Brett and Larry. You think of Williamson Auto Group in Wesley Chapel. You start to just let the snowball roll. Stahl Insurance. Like what you're doing is you're helping out those business owners that were investing in the city and county all along. So although Patrick's from Jacksonville and Bill's from Orlando, like we're still Floridians first off, but the majority of us are local. And if there's somebody to invest in, why not us?
Yeah.
Why not right now? The sport needs us. I mean, why did Rob Manfred get extra years? Well, what is his big goals? Like we've got to fix Tampa before expansion comes to baseball too. So this is in the best interest of the game nationally for us to get a stadium as much as it is locally.
Yeah. And that's why I think MLB will add to the pot as well.
There could be an opportunity for that.
Yeah.
I see it.
Well, let's get it over the finish line, and then we can enjoy baseball for a long, long time. And you got to be thrilled the way this team's playing. You love it, the way the small ball and the way they're moving it, and the stars that are developing. It's fun again.
Oh, it's so much fun. Here's my favorite statistic from this season so far. We won a game in extra innings where 3 hits did not go 13 feet.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, that was so much fun. And Chandler Simpson's arguably changing the way the game's played.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, you got a track star who can hit and is starting to learn to field. Boy, this is fun to watch.
Yeah.
And Gavin's not back yet. I mean, he batted 260 plus last season. He's a great second baseman. Not that Ben deserves anything other than praise for how he started the season.
Totally. And Palacios is doing a nice solid job, but Gavin Luck, especially against righties, is above 260. Honestly, he really just struggles against lefties. So you can, I love the platoon scenario is working out. The one that we didn't want that we were scared of from day one was that the channel system didn't start, and we were like, oh, please let it, so they eased off on that. But platooning and DeLuca, we would just praise DeLuca every day. Now he wants him, in there every day in center field, and I'm like, leave my guy Mullins alone. But DeLuca, yeah, he loves DeLuca. So do I. But just the moves have been calculated. They're working. They're very reminiscent, there I say, of that Joe Madden-esque era.
It feels 08-ish.
It feels 08-ish, 9, 10, into that 3-year run that was dramatic. I don't think they made the playoffs in 9, but they did in 10. But it was still, they scored a crap load of runs in 2009.
And stole a lot of bags.
And they were this diverse team with a couple of big boppers, but everybody else was athletic. And it's feeling that way to me.
Yeah, it's awesome. One of my favorite things in our ownership group is Ken's first meeting, Mr. Babby's first meeting with us. I jokingly call it Ken 316, and it's like one of our cornerstones is "Thou shalt not mess with Ken or Eric." If your name's Kevin Cash or Eric Neander, you have a right to do and try whatever you want, because that proven track record is nothing short of amazing. Imagine we give them a little more resources, a little more opportunities. Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about the size of our payroll going into the season. I believe it's the 4th largest in team history.
I think it's the first.
Is it the first?
I don't think it's ever been more than 100 million. I've covered this team since its inception, and I don't ever remember.
109.
And it's at 108. I think it's the biggest payroll in history as far as I remember.
Yeah, me too. No, I think they were, the biggest was in the 90s one year, I think, and so they broke that barrier. And free agent signings have been on point. We saw what Nick Martinez did last night. Just, a little mini Maddox kind of pitching performance. I wanted to call him a poor man's Maddox, but he's making $13 million, so he's not poor. but a great pitching performance, and I just like the feel of this team. And a couple of other guys are going to get going. Mullins and Fraley, I think, have a lot, especially against righties. But the dynamics need to get a couple of guys back from injury, Clevenger and specifically, and obviously Uceda. When those guys come back, even if we have to wait till midseason with them, the push towards the playoffs could be pretty dramatic. And an AL East that has come out of the gate weird, for lack of a better description. As weird as the AL East is, it's like the NL Central. You know what I mean?
That's probably even weirder.
It has to be, when everybody's
we've had to play them all,
and they've kicked our ass. We are, I think, 3-10. So we're done with the NL Central, and we can get back to work to our people.
But the rest of the AL East still has to go face them.
That's right.
So
that's true too.
They're all good teams because we got to see them all, and I'm like, where did Jordan Walker come from? Where did so-and-so come, And so, but teams are building their franchises differently these days. And I think the Rays staying true to their methodology. Obviously, I wanted Joe Adell to get traded, but he was going to be expensive, inevitably, even though he's still, controllable. But that guy's, so I wanted, you wanted this and you wanted that. But all things considered, the moves that they made seem to be on point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think more than other sports, baseball is about when you peak.
Right.
So if we can put this all together in August and make a run in September, we could have a very fun October.
Yes.
Can I give you a little feedback from the multitudes of people that are watching this right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Alex Nunn says, I absolutely love this guy. That means you. He gets it in caps, not just on baseball, but life. So glad you're here and a part of this group.
Humbled. Thank you.
And here's another one from Douglas Batista, big Rays fan, says, friend of mine from church last year said, Hal, what do you think of the Rays this year? Response, I can't support that owner. Last week, he shows up in a Rays polo. Ownership matters. So you guys, I think, have made a huge impact on this fan base. And I think a lot of it has to do with what you're doing, not just who you are, but what you're doing and the outward, the things that Ken has come up with in terms of marketing the team, which I think are great, and so much more to come. And that's stuff that really has never been done in this market.
But we know it works.
It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Well, it's been done, not for baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Lightning have done it.
Yeah.
And to a certain to almost major degree, Joel and the Glazers have done it also.
Yeah.
So it just we needed a fresh faces. And it goes to show, honestly, and you could talk a little bit about this, that Rob Manfred finally got to the point, and we've talked about it on our show at nauseum, that the past ownership needed to go and things weren't getting pushed forward. And then who are we going to pick now, or who are we going to decide on? And so I think that was a very calculated move by Manfred as to what ownership group he was going to end up selecting.
His leadership's been phenomenal. I mean, when I grew up, I would love to be as good of a leader as he is. It's really cool because sometimes leaders have to make unpopular decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And a hurricane and playing, and thank you to the Yankees for letting us play at Steinbrenner, but playing in the minor league park, last year Stu had some headwinds and it was tough. And I'll never forget game 1 and some of the chants, but when an opportunity arises, historically good people will take advantage of that opportunity. And there's not anybody in this ownership group that has anything negative to say about Stu. We're just so grateful for the opportunity to build on the legacy of the past 2 ownership groups, because look at where we are. We're still one of the best teams in the last 8 years in winning percentage.
100%.
And we didn't get there by accident. All we need to do now is take that next big step forward. And that's that August, September. What do we do to put our best 9 on the field every single day and compete and win? And then if they don't want to see us win, don't let us hit it out of the park.
Right. It's interesting, but the Tampa Bay Rays and what baseball means to a community are almost a microcosm of where Tampa is right now.
I would agree with that.
Been good. People are moving. People like them. They've been successful. They've had wins, greatness. But then the potential for championships, if you will, in the future years is really there.
It is. And the nice thing is the best is yet to come. We still have a great farm. We haven't sacrificed any of that to put this lineup out there. Checking out minor league baseball is a ton of fun. I spent a lot of time in Augusta. The Braves have the Augusta Green Jackets. And you watch high A ball all the way to triple A ball. There are other major league teams that it looks like the Bad News Bears, and they're throwing the ball into row 4, seat F. But you watch our minor league program and our farm. I mean, we've got a depth of talent. I've never seen this much talent at shortstop in our farm in a very, if ever, I think maybe ever.
Yeah, strong.
So it's
and really catching exciting. Now.
Yeah,
they made a concerted effort to just go after young catchers. They have 3 right now that within a couple of years, 1 or 2 of them could be stellar. And I'll add to that, because just came back from Dominican Republic in January, and their brand new $30 million,
it's beautiful.
Out.
Yeah.
They're putting their money in the right places, because the Dominican players are also the future of baseball too, in many ways.
What's becoming quite an international sport. And I love that, right? I was in Barranquilla in Colombia and got to go see Edgar Renteria Stadium. And really get to appreciate how much the game of baseball has helped the Colombian Caribbean.
Of course.
And we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
I would love to see, and I'm speaking, just for myself here, but I'd love to see some spring training games in other countries.
Yeah.
Like the NFL is doing in Europe. How much fun would it be to go to the DR for a 3-game series?
Right.
Or eventually watch the Marlins play in Cuba once we have.
It was huge this year, and that was the team Dominican Republic played the Detroit Tigers in a 2-game set in early March, and that was just blown up. I mean, they had to turn people away at Quisqueya Stadium. So I think it's a great idea.
That's a wonderful minor league affiliations with teams,
and that gets a little complicated because it's hard with the every day, every week, every month kind of playing back and forth. They used to do it many, many, many years ago, back in the 50s. And, Cuba had.
Now they have they were building these individual training centers like the Rays are building.
What they do is that they create their own leagues.
Right.
So these 30 teams are play a league right now as we speak. And the academies play against each other and play off at so they have a really tight little league going on over there, and some great 16 to 18-year-olds.
I have another fan saying, I'm so excited about this entire ownership group, including you, Michael. You love our city, the fans, and the Tampa Bay Rays. So excited for Rays baseball for generations to come. On top of this entire district.
Our peeps, our Petermans are coming out.
Yeah. Well, they understand what you guys are doing.
That is our audience.
They're informed. They're smart. They're most of our fans are they're affluent, educated people, and they do things. They build things. And most of the negative people don't. Yeah. If you look at their profiles,
and they love sports, they realize how important sports is to the fiber of a community and of a nation. By the way, I mean, with all these things coming up, we may need a little, Fanstream Sports might need a little weekly, Mike Murphy show.
I think to bring business and sports together. Are you talking about
talk business?
I think that's rather brilliant. Actually,
make a little note of that.
Do we have a studio where he can do that, where he works every day?
Maybe that he might have visited every day right here in Midtown.
Maybe you got something there. I don't know. Do you have time in his schedule?
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
I mean, we're making it easy. We're just we're right here.
But the dude. Listen,
I've got my entire ops team in the conference room right
now waiting for you.
What do we got? 2 more minutes? Is that left? That's all we got left.
Whatever we take advantage of whatever we want. They're deep into Genesis stuff. Like, it's really fun, right? The better my management team and Murphy Auto Group gets, the more time I have to continue to love on our community, right? You can't take this with us,
right?
You've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. You hear me say that all the time. So while we're here, let's do good and let's leave a legacy of not only winning the right way,
right?
And that's on the diamond, that's in life, and then that's Tampa against the world. Why not us?
Talk a little bit about that and the things that you have been involved with, because there's so much going on globally, and I know there's a group that you specifically support in the tens of thousands, if not more, and Grable Rescue, but other things that you do in the community, because
sure.
Working with you and knowing you, not enough people know about what you do.
Well, first and foremost, I love helping people make decisions with their second largest purchase they ever make. Obviously, number one's a house, but number two is cars. So we don't have to sell cars. We get to sell cars. And I don't like to sell anything. I'd rather ask, learn, educate, and inform a consumer, and they're going to make a good choice. So selling cars is the ante in poker. But with that, we take the biblical concept of tithing from the book of Malachi, and we give away 10% of our money through the Dennis L. Murphy and Son Foundation, because without my dad, it wouldn't be possible. And every month we're living in a different part of the community. So January, we focus on female empowerment in athletics. February, we focus a lot on local HBCUs and Black history. March, September, and a couple other pop-ups throughout the year. We're focused on rescuing Americans internationally. With Grable Rescue, I'm unfortunately and kind of fortunately a 3-pin for them. I'm a donor, I'm an operator, which is fun, but I'm also a rescuee. And Brian Stern and his team are real-life superheroes. And I don't care if it's Maria Cochina Machado or if it's Israeli Americans or Lebanese Americans or Krillo out of Russia, who's obviously an American. If you're an American, anywhere in the world, we'll go get you. We'll break you out of jail. The Russians still don't know how we did it. You're an American. Your passport looks like mine. Brian will go get you. Then as April and May and June goes in, we're focused on hurricane awareness, giving away generators. April is Law Enforcement Appreciation and First Responders Month. So anybody listening, we've got great deals all the way through May for law enforcement and first responders. And then we kind of circle back and we give away thousands of turkeys for test dresser turkeys. We have hundreds of shopping sprees at Walmart for $500 per family. That happens in December. But we also want to grow opportunities. So the foundation spends a lot of time with local baseball, little leagues, softballs. I've got 2 young girls, so we're getting more into LPGA and softball opportunities. But then we were also kind of forward-thinking, innovative in spring football. Mm-hmm. I'm one of the larger sponsors of the Orlando Storm, the undefeated Orlando Storm.
Hey, Anthony Beck, let's go.
Yeah, play at home Saturday, 7 p.m. Let's go Storm. Great football. Viewers are over 1 million per game. But we just want to continue to give the youth of my market areas, Tampa, Central Florida being Orlando, and the greater Augusta CSRA, options to do stuff with your hands, to play sports, to learn those life lessons, because I have built Murphy Auto Group around 3 groups of people: athletes, veterans, and immigrants. because at the end of the day, all men are created equal, but all people are equal. You got that dog in you. If you know that you're going to cut off your arms and legs before you're not successful, where you want success as much as you want air, a lot like this Tampa Bay Rays team right now, then you're going to be successful. And we just want to empower more and more of the youth to think like that. You're not an accident. You're born uniquely by a God that loves you, that created you for a purpose. And Murphy Auto Group and our foundation wants to connect your passion to your purpose.
Well, that's the best live read we've had for Murphy Auto Group. So,
we don't even have to do our regular live read.
We better talk about Texas Roadhouse, though.
I'm telling you what.
Well, you got anything to say about Texas Roadhouse, Wesley?
Oh, my God.
Other than I absolutely love their food.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'll go pick up food, and then I'll put it in my own casserole dishes, put it in the oven, and completely take credit for it.
I've done that, actually. I've done that with Cuban food. Yeah, I'll buy, some latte de cita or somewhere, and then I'll put it in the casserole, and I'll be like, I just spent an hour cooking arroz con pollo over here. What are you talking about?
The kitchen
but that Texas Roadhouse in Wesley Chapel will do that for you, and they're the best, man, with their own butchers and service, and very much like at Haines City at Miracle Toyota, and also at Genesis of Tampa,
where I bought my car.
Where you bought your car. I love
my GB70, bro.
The service comes first, along with the production of what they're selling, which
great
is
experience.
Great experience. Yeah,
and great value too. Yeah. All right, everybody loves you here,
dude.
She's like, Alex is like, this is my favorite guest of all time.
Well, you know what? What you want from a guest is obviously enthusiasm, but also. And I got taught this at a young age as a broadcaster at ESPN. You want information, but entertainment, and be able to flow that. And Mike Murphy was able to do that. So we really appreciate him.
Alex also gives Alex Nunn also gives away a lot of tickets to Rays games. He has a huge block, and he has kids. He was sending me pictures of some of the little kids that they brought to the game the other day, and one with his glove who caught a ball. I mean, can you imagine that moment? Are you a fan for life if you're like 6 years old and you catch a ball at a Major League Baseball game? But he does a lot of that. And he said, I'll add this from a fan's perspective. Fans are hurt. I've showed up, JP, some great pics of children we bring to the ballpark, but fans are hurt. It's refreshing to see fans happy. Y'all are amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's just a time when people were just down, but now it's just a whole new feeling, and kind of symbolically too, the new Trop, and it's so much brighter than it used to be, which is interesting. It's a bright new day. It's a totally new perspective on the Rays. And I've always said this community I've been part of for 30 years now. When I first moved here, I could tell right away it was a baseball community. I grew up in one, as did you, in South Florida, where local league, little league baseball was like. It was like the underpinning of the foundation of the whole neighborhood. Everybody played, everybody gathered, it was little league baseball.
Fundraising around it.
Yeah, and I came to Tampa and I was like, whoa, Davis Island Little League, Palmacia Little League, West Tampa Little, like it's baseball crazy here.
Shout out Upper Pinellas.
They've another World Series team.
That's right.
In Dunedin, where the governor played Little League baseball, and it's
Nell,
such a part
in Northeast
and Ybor City and all the, it's such a baseball is such an underpinning in the fabric of this city in this area, Tampa Bay area. So why don't we support the Rays? Why are we don't? And it's because we, with all due respect, that location is not great. It's on the edge of the market. The stadium is just not what people are used to going to. And we've done a great job with it now, but if we do it right, we put an iconic ballpark in the central part of the area with ownership that is adored. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
And I think to your point, the best is yet to come. And I think in a big way, because we've just not done it right here.
And I think we got to challenge the large silent majority. Like the majority of us love baseball, and we would be destroyed to see the Rays ever leave.
Oh my God!
Not that I see that happening, nor do I think the team sees it happening.
But it could.
But
let's be honest.
Anything's possible in this crazy
world. If this does not pass, and I know you're not going to say it because you guys don't do that, but as an observer and an objective sports reporter that I've been for 30 years in this market, I'm not an idiot, and I see all these other cities like Nashville, Raleigh, Durham. I just heard, I listened to a podcast of those folks in Raleigh. They got their shit together,
right? And
they got money, and they're ready to go. Portland, Salt Lake City, all these places. If you guys brought this to them, they'd be doing cartwheels, and they can't wait for Tampa to not take this opportunity. They're all waiting in line, hoping to God it doesn't happen. And if we screw this up,
well, I mean, thinking positively, what
I'm just saying
those areas, well, namely,
if I were a
Charlotte
commissioner, I wouldn't be voting against it. That's all I'm
obviously
saying.
Charlotte and Nashville in particular. They're also waiting for the Rays and Tampa and the city and the county to do the deal. You know why? Because then they could start pushing for expansion. And we're over here, and cities like Salt Lake, cities like Nashville, possibly Charlotte, are going to be major in the running.
Yeah, but they also have to come up with a $2 billion expansion fee.
2 to 2.5. It's not going to be cheap, and they got to build a stadium.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a $4 billion sweep. You know,
did we get a deal then?
Listen,
meaning the city of Tampa.
I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it this way.
Yes,
I'm going to put it this way with 3 words: San Diego Padres, $3.9 billion, and no doubt a formidable team. The Gaslight District, the beautiful La Jolla, beautiful San Diego, one of my favorite cities to visit. But nevertheless, $4 billion.
It's also a shrinking city.
It's
also much smaller market.
People are leaving.
People are, yeah, that's true. And so and a team that the last time, let's see, when was the last time they went to the World Series? 1998. So they've only been there twice, 84 and 98. So this is a team that, talking about like the city of Tampa and the Tampa Bay whole area on the rise. We've been there a couple times now in the last several years. So there's no doubt that there's a positive potential here going on.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy
you can't screw this opportunity up.
This type of ownership in there.
Well, I know you got to go.
I do.
Yeah.
But I just want to say one last thing, because I think we touched on it, but I want to hammer it home. We need everybody's help here. If you're a Rays fan, now's the time to use your voice. Show up to the meetings, show up to the lunch and learns, the sips and sees.
Email.
But most importantly, it's email. You can write letters, you can call. But anything you do to get in front of your city commissioner and say, this is what I believe is best for the city of Tampa Bay, we need your help.
Well,
it's a call out.
That is a call out.
It's a call out.
There's
Just
no
think,
doubt
this
about
is
it, man.
there's only a few defining moments in anyone's life or in anything's life. This is a defining moment. What we do with this defining moment could echo an eternity.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Mike, for jumping in, man. It's good to finally have you on the show. The fans love you. They love this ownership group. So let's keep it up. Get this over the finish line.
One last thing.
Best is yet to come.
Did you just win a tournament just recently?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
14 Pro-Am championships.
14 Pro-Am championships you've won over your career. Yeah. Several with your dad back in the day.
Yeah. I won 8 with my father. 6 since he's been gone.
That's the RBC that you've won up there in Sea Island.
In Hilton Head Island. Yeah. So it's my 26th year playing the RBC Heritage. Another great organization, senior leadership, tournament director from Steve Wilmot to Morgan Hyde to Terry Finger. I could go through the whole group. They've been there watching me grow up. I played the first one at 14 years old.
How about that?
I played with Payne Stewart my first year.
How about that?
The year he passed away. So we still wear the +4s and the Tam O'Shanter.
Wow. Nice.
Other than a couple of people thinking I'm Tommy Shelby, a lot of people still remember Payne Stewart. Winning is fun. Winning is fun.
That was just last week.
Yeah. But keeping Payne's memory alive is really equally as fun. But I'm just a 7 handicap. I'll double, triple a hole like the rest of us. But
you'll also hold out on 17 to win the tournament from the bunker.
Yeah,
on a 30.
I sure did.
Yeah, buddy.
You're a winner.
You're
a winner. You're a winner in life. And I'm so glad you're a part of this group, even though you hit it for us for 6 months. Really well done. But
NDAs are pretty
you sly devil. But congratulations on all the success and continued success, and I can't wait to see what the future is for this team, for all your businesses and everything. We really appreciate you. Thanks,
you,
partner.
Now get to your meeting, damn it.
Yeah. Hey, somebody buy a Genesis so I can keep this thing going.
I already did. I got to get my wife one too. I'm going to do that.
Thank you.
I'll do that one as well. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
How about that guess, huh?
Yeah, pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Let me get back to our see if I can get this all right. There we go. Well, let's wrap it up, partner. Talk a little bit of baseball here.
Yeah,
I got an important meeting I got to get to. Too.
We got a day off for the Rays, much needed. You know, they had when you really look at their schedule overall and starting out in that, you know, that wicked road trip, and you know, these days off as a former player, I tell you, you really welcome them, especially when you're home, not on the road on the day off. So they get a little breather. They got nicked up by Cincinnati, but they were able to take that game last night. Great job by Nick Martinez. My gosh, what a great job. His changeup is just outstanding right now. The cutter, the two-seamer, he's just pitching with a lot of control. 75% strikes last night. What you get now is you're going to go into a series against a Minnesota Twins team, JP, that is very pedestrian, very, you know, beatable.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of really good arms out there. One of them is throwing today, Joe Ryan throwing, you know, against the Mets. So we don't have to face Joe Ryan, but we do have to face Taj Bradley. Oh, by the way, former Ray with a 3.0, 3.0 record with like a 1.6 ERA, throwing really confident, throwing real comfortable. So that'll be an interesting tomorrow night. But he'll be going up against our ace in the Razman. The Rasmussen.
That's going to be great.
That's going to be a great start. Should be a fun weekend of games. The biggest thing that I'm probably looking forward to this weekend is, again, one more start for Sugar Shane McClanahan and seeing how the development goes and how he gets, like, really puts it together and has that game where he throws 7 strong innings, you know, and 90 pitches and gets a W out of there, because then that's going to catapult him and that'll make this team formidable. Because if you have Martinez pitching out as, you know what, you definitely have Drew pitching well, and you add Sugar Shane, they could go on a run.
Yeah, this team, it's been a little hit and miss in places. You know, the bullpen's been a little rough.
Sure.
But I think the lineup they're starting to figure some things out.
100%.
The
lineup is starting to get, you know, what they're figuring out is their roles and how they're going to play, and how, you know,
defining those roles.
Those roles.
Just so important for a player, right? Tell me what you need me to do, and
tell me what you need me to do. So I come into the clubhouse, or even the night before, I know who we're facing, righty, lefty, what's going on. They know the type of game that they play. It's slashing, running, some pop, and aggressive, and a little bit of small ball. So everybody's in on it now. You know, I don't think there's a player that you say, I need you to bunt. I'm a bunt. You know, and
they're doing this small ball thing about as good as anybody. And we mentioned this, and now it's kind of becoming a popular take around the nation, is that teams aren't built to defend against small ball anymore.
No, they're not.
They don't know how to do it.
I even had this thought the other day that I bet you, because inside of a season, early on especially, but even what happens is that early on they add some extra practices. Hey, I want the pitchers to show up early because we're going to do PFP.
Yeah.
I bet you teams are now having early practices when the Rays are coming into town.
Yeah.
Especially when they're home and they can control the field, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so they're like, hey, I want guys to come out early because we need to defend these guys because they're frustrating as hell. So, you know, the league hasn't been prepared for that the last 4 or 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
And the
Rays are making hay on it.
They're making hay on it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Alex says, JP, before you go, that was absolutely refreshing to hear. I'm confident this deal will get done. You know, it's some of the things
Thank you, Alex.
A lot of people are not confident because you're spending your time in the cesspool of social media, as I have to do. And you see all the negativity, you know, and these are mostly people who are online all the time looking to bitch about something.
Right.
Our elected officials have met these guys. They've talked to them. They know what they're doing. They see the numbers. They know. They have a different reality than I think a lot of what is being shared in the media, which is agenda driven in some places. So I wouldn't worry about it. I think they have the votes.
I'm going to add one thing that you brought up in the show, and you've brought up to me a couple of times, you know, off air, is that the impact and the importance of MLB sliding into this thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Right.
We're too close.
And saying, support this. We've got your back. We're going to put our money where our mouth is. Support this, you know. So
we're too close to have this fail, in my opinion.
Yeah.
we're just, there's, 75 million short from it. That's not going to happen.
No,
they're going to get it over the line.
Yeah.
We're talking about something this big. So I'm still confident.
Yeah.
And I love where the Rays are going on the field.
Right.
Fun to watch. If you're a Rays fan like Alex and a lot of people and Alejandro. And Douglas and all the Petermans here, that as Mike says, the future is so bright. The better days are ahead. The best days of this franchise are ahead.
It's a legacy, man, for us now to enjoy it, and then our kids and our kids' kids.
Well, as we sit here 30 years after the building of Raymond James Stadium, and we say, whew, thank God by 1% we voted for that.
They made that happen.
Because the Bucks would have been gone to Orlando.
Yeah.
And then what would this city look like?
Right.
Losing an NFL team.
Yeah.
And then now maybe losing a Major League Baseball team. We're not going to let that happen.
Hey, before we go, because I know we're out and you got to go, I just want to promote and let everybody know to be sure to watch JP Peterson watching the draft tonight. So
we'll be hanging out at $1 waiting for the pick to be made.
Right.
And so hopefully it's your UM guy right there, Akeem Mezzador.
Akeem is the man.
Yeah, we hope it's him. At least somebody on the defensive end, please. But we think it's him. Hopefully it would be him. He'll be there. It's a good fit.
It just seems like a guy.
We'll do that, and we'll have all the great coverage tomorrow as well on our show. And thank you for all the baseball knowledge here. And make sure you like and subscribe to the Big O Show on all your podcasts and your social media as well. Thank you, partner.
All right, buddy.
What else we got? Oh, let me get the theme going here too. Hold on. Here we go.
Everybody needs to stay tranquil and tropical.
Yes, let's do that.